Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? It's Richard Kuo, and I want to talk about those moments where we kind of fall into a slump and our grades just drop, and we don't know what to do because we just feel unmotivated and we just start procrastinating, and our life kind of just sucks. So I received a question from one of you named Mitchell Who, and so I'm just going to go ahead and read the comment that Mitchell sent me. Okay, so Mitchell says, I've recently gotten into a slump in school where my GPA dropped from a 3.7 to a 3.0. I've been feeling hopeless about it since I see my friends get 4.0s with ease and have a life other than school. Whenever they ask me about my grades, I just lie to them about it. I can't seem to find motivation to try in school anymore. Any tips on helping regain that motivation? Right now, I want to share with you my situation so you understand that I've been there too, and maybe if I talk about my situation, you'll kind of figure out ways that you can implement into your own life. So when I was a senior in high school, I didn't know this, but I was super burnt out. I realized I was depressed, and what happened was I had a decent GPA. I probably had like a maybe I don't remember 3.6 or something, but like all of a sudden 3.6 weighted. All of a sudden, I just got so burnt out that I went from B's and C's, mostly B's, to D's and F's, all my classes across the board. And I was so like depressed, and I felt like I was the only person facing it because all my other friends were doing fine. They were getting A's, maybe a few B's, and I felt kind of stupid, and I didn't want to disappoint my friends, I didn't want to disappoint my family, I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I just didn't talk about it. And then 3 months passed, and my teachers, 3 of them, were really good friends, and they started talking like, hey, have you noticed Richard has been different lately? He's not participating in class anymore. His grades have been dropping, and he doesn't seem like himself anymore. So, fortunately for me, and at the time it wasn't fortunate because one of my teachers ended up calling me up to the school psychologist, and in the middle of class. So I was super embarrassed, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like the walk of shame. Like, Richard, crazy person, gets sent up to the school psychologist. So I go to school psychologist, and pretty much they're like, I talk to her about like what's going on with my life, and she's like, Richard, you're just really burnt out. Like you need to give yourself a break. So that's what I did. I gave myself a break, and surprisingly enough, that mindset, understanding that I just need to take little baby steps, that's kind of what helped me to start that path to recovery. To start like rebuilding myself and regaining those grades. So even though I didn't get straight A's because I started off this quarter bad, I went from D's and like a D and an F, D's and F's to probably like B, C's and D's. I might have gotten an F still, but the point was that's kind of how I got out of it, which was recognizing it and moving forward with it. Let's pretend we're Mitchell or you in this situation, and you have a 3.7 GPA or around there, and you drop to a 3.0. And your friends are still getting 4.0s with ease, and they got a life outside school while you're trying your hardest to do well in school. So first of all, if you're in this situation, you probably feel kind of crappy. First, you feel dumb because your grades are suffering and you're still not doing as good as your friends. Secondly, you're going to feel bad because your expectation is that you have a 3.7 or you have a 4.0 like your friends do, but you got a 3.0. Right now I'm going to read what Mitchell wrote back to me, so you can kind of see the situation that he's in, and maybe it's a very similar situation to what you're in right now as well. I feel like I've dug myself into a hole that I can't climb out of. Instead of doing my work, I am more likely to sit at my desk and think that it's too late to recover. I feel like there's not enough time in the day to complete all the work that's piled up on me. I, like you did, look outwards for solutions, and I more or so decide to ignore my problems until it's too late. I feel like running away from my problems is the only solution. I'm too scared to talk to my counselor as they would contact my parents. I'm too scared to talk to my friends as I fear they would make me feel like I'm not worthy or dumb. I lose all motivation and procrastinate to the last second. I waste all my time until it's midnight and become too tired or depressed to start out my work, so I just go to sleep. Then I wake up the next morning and I try to do as much of my work in a few minutes. It's a cycle of stress and procrastination. Mitchell, you're probably thinking, or you were probably thinking, oh man, I don't have a 3.7 GPA or a 4.0. I got a 3.0. Man, I really got to bust my butt off, but I feel so hopeless. And it's this hopelessness that hole, we feel like we dig ourselves into a hole which makes us feel like, man, you know what, I'm never going to get out of this. So when I say let go of expectations, what I really mean by that is we have to take small little baby steps one by one in order to get back to that GPA. If you're someone who is kind of procrastinating until last minute, like midnight, and then doing all your work the next day, let's just start doing little things. Let's do one assignment or 2 assignments before you go to sleep, and then do the rest the next morning. Now I want to briefly talking about reaching out to people. So if we feel like we're stuck in this hole, oftentimes, again, we feel like we're doing it alone and no one else understands the situation. And when we are alone, that's when it gets even worse. I remember when I was depressed and in this slump, my girlfriend, who I really cared for, like I just completely shut her out of my life. Like it's not like I had any problems with her. I just didn't want to upset her. So I just stopped talking to her about school. I just tried to avoid this conversation, this topic. And throughout the whole entire time, the 3 months that I was just really, really depressed and everything like that, the whole time, like afterwards, she's like, dude, Richard, like, you know, I really care for you. I want to know what's going on in your life. Like, why aren't you letting me know? And she just felt kind of sad and depressed for me because she could feel it, but I wouldn't be open about it. So if you are in this situation, my advice is to be open about it with your friends, with your family. And I know it can be uncomfortable. I know you could feel like it feels like you could upset them or make them disappointed in you. But what's going to be more upsetting and disappointing is if you're failing and you don't talk about it. So that's number one. And the second part is, well, if you talk about it, that's the best opportunity for you, I believe, where you are going to kind of heal, and also your friends, your counselors, your teachers, your parents, or whoever can help you along this journey as well. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. I know that was a lot of information in probably a little bit of time, so if you have more questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll be happy to answer them privately in a message or in the comment section below, or I will answer it in future videos. Okay? Well, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, if it feels helpful for you, please like it and also share it with other people so they could get this awesome knowledge and I could keep producing content that is relevant for you. Thank you so much, and I love you all. Looking forward to see you next week. All right, take care. Peace. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? It's Richard Kuo. Right now I'm in Taipei, Taiwan, visiting some family and just on a little solo trip mission. So right now, I want to help answer the question, how do you ask someone out? I already know I talked